Hello, and welcome to the Fear Channel, a channel with regular broadcasts telling the most chilling of urban legends, ghost stories, and forays into the darkest corners of the human mind. Those faint of heart or prone to night terrors should proceed at their own risk. Tonight's story is The Mask.
I used to have this bleach white theater mask that I would put on while standing in front of people's houses at night. I should probably add that I was in my junior year of high school at the time. Probably not the best decision, but it was fun. The trick is to get someone to make eye contact with you, if only for a split second. At first they aren't sure what they're seeing, but then they try to look closer, and that's when they realize what they're looking at. I always took the utmost care to make sure I wasn't caught. I covered my bases, made sure not to do this very often, and hit up different neighborhoods whenever I did. If I got so much as a startled reaction or a scream, I'd laugh to myself for a quick moment, then bolt out of there as fast as I could. There was only one occasion when someone actually stepped out to meet me, and it was nothing like what I'd expected. I would have guessed it would be some burly middle-aged guy who would actually have the balls to come out yelling and kick me off his property. But no. The guy who came to greet me was a younger gentleman, clad in a tuxedo, as if he had been at some fancy party. Now I was in way too bummy of a neighborhood for him to be so dressed up. Most of the lights were off, and it didn't look like anyone else was awake inside. That's when I began to wonder if this guy even lived here. Without a word, he casually stepped out. Then he stared at me with an immense confidence. His gaze pierced to my core, in spite of my mask, as if it did not hinder his vision of me in any way. He stood and stared and waited. I didn't move a muscle. I couldn't. At first I wanted to wait to see who would break first, him or me, but after a short while curiosity turned to terror and I was frozen stiff. I stood so long against the sharpness of those eyes that I almost swore I could hear my mask beginning to crack. After what seemed like an eternity, I slowly began to take careful steps away from the mysterious man who stood in the doorway. I will never forget the words he said to me before I turned and ran. "Leaving? So soon? But why? Aren't we the same?"